Louisiana versus all y'all. Jarrett Rosa with a familiar face, but we've got kind of a new moniker to throw on there. Hayward Howard, the 2026 Edna Karr defensive back, and now officially LSU target, picking up that offer on Tuesday from the home state Tigers. We're going to talk a lot about that and just the significance of that and the relationship right now with the LSU staff, as well as his recruiting process overall, heading into, fast approaching Cougar spring practice here coming up in a couple weeks. Hayward, I've told you 3 times today, I think, already. Congratulations, man. How does today feel?
It feels good. I mean, it's my home state. Home office come a little different, so I feel good. I feel like I work good enough, worked hard enough, and I'm just happy to get it.
Talk me through the day a little bit, because I know one thing you're feeling is probably a little bit tired because you woke yourself up early this morning, and we're in Baton Rouge for pre-practice meetings and there for spring practice this morning, and really made a full day of it up here. Kind of talk me through what the day's agenda looked like and what those conversations were like in terms of talking to, guys like Coach Frank and Coach Corey and Coach Kelly.
So I woke up at like 4:45. I left my house at 5:30. I got over there like at 6:50, 6:45. As soon as I got in there, I got my name tag, I got into a presentation, like the welcome to Tigerland presentation. And then I went straight into meetings with Coach Raymond. They was going over their plays and stuff. After that, I spoke to him as how I was doing stuff like that, and we went to pre-practice walkthrough. We went to the walkthroughs, then we went to Indies. They we were looking good at Indies, and then they went to team. Then they went outside. They went to team. They did another Indy before team, and then they went to team practice. A lot of competition, and then after that, yo, I'm on an interview. Yeah, so I went to I went to a team they had Indies, and then they went to team. Now that they went to team, they did one-on-ones, competitive still. Couple familiar faces I recognize like Trinidad Green, Azure Stamps, Eric Anderson, Destin Hill, then Matt Teron Francis. So watching that, just looking at some of my old teammates, looking at one of my old teammates practice, that was always cool. After that, practice was over and whatever. I had a conversation with Coach Kelly outside. He was just like, welcome. I'm thankful for you being here. Welcome to Death Valley Tigerland, and he said I had a meeting with him after. So then I met with Coach Frank. We talked and sat down to talk about like about my process, how my process was different from others. Because like I'm number one cornerback in the state, and I'm the top cornerback in the nation. So while my process is long, I know everybody wondered, but like for in-state kids, the process come a little slow. Just cause like the process comes slow don't mean you're not good enough. It just mean that like sometimes they just want to see some progress. Like when I came in LSU, when I first was interested in LSU, I was 161. I was the same size, just same height, 6'3". I was just 161. I put on about 12 pounds. I'm 178. Started 15 pounds. I'm 178. I want to sell for 5, and then they pulled the trigger that day. Well, I just think that progress is key. I mean that's SEC ball. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you don't look at it like they're taking too long. Just look at it like you got work to do. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day though, like my situation is different from everybody anyway. Like I'm 16. I don't make 17 to July 23rd. I'm born 2008. So my growth and my is going to be a little different for everybody. And like for one thing, I like to say it don't matter who offer you first for real, because I got 23 more that offered me before that. But at the end of the day, it don't matter who offered me first. 'Cause people got different stories. So like you can have a Tim or whatever that's been offered freshman year, but they gonna have the same love for them as they offer me in their junior year. You know what I'm saying? Because some you offer them now and they're not what they seem to be later. Or like like me, you see progress in my campaign and stuff like that. So that's why they pull the trigger. So I don't really have no I asked why, and I got my answer why I was recruited late, and I understood it, and I'm cool with it. And me and Coach Frank got a good relationship, and me and Coach Raymond have a great relationship. And I talked to Coach Kelly. He was just saying that Edna Karr produces great players, but every single player is different. You know what I'm saying? So he had to see what was the differences between me and every other player that's there from Edna Karr. And when they found out the differences, they said they want me there. Matter of fact, they said they want me there. Matter of fact, they need me there. I belong at Tigerland, and that was the conversation we had. And I left, and I left satisfied. Though I got my answer why my home state college ain't offer me, and I'm not even mad about it because like I had work to do anyway. You know what I'm saying? And like not getting that gonna make you thrive off anyway because I thrived off not getting it. You know what I'm saying? So like you gotta realize what that like that's gonna like you gotta have a good mindset. A weak mindset is gonna be like, oh man, they don't really want me for real. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know what they want, but you just know you gotta progress. Because if I'm 160 right now, I wouldn't be having what I was anyway. So you just gotta realize that and be realistic with yourself instead of like acting like you just stubborn. You know what I'm saying?
There's definitely, I mean, angles to that for us to talk about in terms of the recruiting piece of it and just kind of where your process is now when you add LSU to it. And we've talked about the timeline dynamic before. I mean, through the last couple of years of just not getting too hung up on when the offers come, but knowing that you're heading for the right place. But you talked some about the progress that they wanted to see from you and the progress that you needed to show of yourself as a young player. And that's something, I mean, we've talked about too, is just your continued focus on development for you to continue to get bigger and stronger. And we saw the impacts of that for you on the perimeter this fall for your Cougars team on that state championship run. And for you to be a guy that is now, 15 to 20 pounds heavier than you were a year and a half, 2 years ago, and be a guy that's still running right at about a 4.5. What has that, you mentioned needing to have a strong mindset and needing to focus on what you can control. What does that look like for you in terms of the work that has gone into being the guy that you are now as a young football player that LSU wants to be a part of their class and all of these other programs, Colorado, Ole Miss, Miami, Florida, Texas, and on down the list for you to be the guy that you are now preparing for senior year? What has that development looked like?
Not being complete. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not number one in my class. You know what I'm saying? I can't be complacent. I'm not number one. And even if I am number one, I'm not gonna be complacent regardless. But it's always somebody that you gotta beat out. Like it's always somebody that's working harder than you. So I make sure that nobody's working harder than me in my mind. So I put myself through like a different type of training. Like to gain 15 pounds in a certain amount of months, it's a different type of training. Like my mindset was different. Like my focus is different. I'm focused on something way bigger than what people think I'm focused on. You know what I'm saying? I'm focused on something that's gonna make me sick. And by the time I get ready to college, I'll be starting as a freshman, just off my work ethic because the talent there, but hard work don't be talent. So if you got talent and you got hard work, you can't compete with that.
On the recruiting process side, I mentioned all of those other schools that have been in the mix. LSU is now your most recent offer, but you talked about there's obviously a lot of familiarity there. You've been to Baton Rouge a bunch. Coach Frank is somebody that you've known for a long time, someone that your family has known for a long time. You see a lot of guys that you played with or played against at the high school level or on 7-on-7 teams or whatever. You've watched a lot of LSU growing up. So when you look at a dynamic of, okay, does LSU have a lot of catching up to do to some of these other programs? What is kind of the foundation that's already there? How strong is some of your familiarity with the program, your familiarity with some of those coaches, and just kind of, where do you guys go from here to, build on that further or whatever, needs to be done or, I mean, are they right there in the thick of it immediately?
I mean, when we go from here, they gonna build their relationship with me. Like they already have a relationship with me. Like you said, I've been up there a couple times, but now they're gonna build a relationship with me being a prospect for them. So they gonna build. I don't commit to July 23rd anyway, so it's still time to build. And I already set my OV up for the third week of June already for LSU. So like I'm already familiar with LSU. It's just that I gotta get used to the coaching staff. I'm already used to Coach Raymond, Coach Frank, Coach Kelly, but I got to get used to the whole program. Just get used to the in and outs of players, things like that. So that's the catching up mostly, like getting used to the players. But that's why you go on visits, and that's why you go on visits to see what you like. And from a practice point of view, they practice is very competitive. It reminds me of my high school. You know what I'm saying? So that's one point. I take notes when I go to when I go to colleges. So I understand that whatever what the standard that I have, it matches LSU standard with the work ethic and everything else. Now I just gotta come through as like the me being a prospect, things of that nature. We didn't never discuss that, but I already got a official set up for LSU in the third week of June. So I mean, just we're just gonna see how it goes from here.
What was the reaction of guys like Big Rich and Aiden? We talk about it, you getting the offer now and, wishing it would have come earlier maybe or whatever. You're one of only 13 guys in this entire state in the 2026 class that has an LSU offer. And now 3 of you guys are on that same state championship car team. Those 2 guys are already committed. And now I'm sure Rich for sure is going to be in your ear if he isn't already. Aiden
All right,
maybe too. What's the reaction from those guys?
takes me. Well, Aiden was there with me.
Okay.
He went up there too. So I got buku texts from everybody. Aiden Pops told me welcome home. Rich told me I might as well just commit already. Fat told me welcome home. Aaron told me welcome home. So it's a lot of love coming from them. So I'm gonna hear a lot of nagging, a lot of ear hustle, a lot of ear stuff like that because I got to see them do it every day at practice. But I ain't gonna jump the gun. You know what I'm saying? But if it happens, it happens.
You said third week of June will be an official visit to LSU. What does the rest of your schedule look like? Who else do you have OVs set up with, or any other kind of trips that you have on the agenda, whether OV or unofficial, or other places that you're trying to get something scheduled?
So right now how my process goes like I do unofficials and then I see what's the difference and I pick my top 6 or top 5 that I wanna go back to for OV. So right now I got my OV set for Miami and LSU and I have OV set up for Texas. Texas is gonna be in the first week of June, Miami in the second week, LSU in the third week. But I have 2 more um, slots to fill, 3 more slots to fill for my OV. So I'm just going around checking them schools out, and I have the next 3 about. I go to Texas this week, but I already had that OV set up. The next week I go to Florida State, and and I think the next week after that I'm going to either Gainesville, or I'm going to Texas A&M. So I have all those set up, and then I have my top 5, top 6, and then my top 5 or top 6 will be my OVs, and that's basically what I got on the plate.
You've had a chance to visit a lot of these places, whether just visiting campus or going for camps or whatnot. As you start to get closer to these OVs throughout the first half of the summer, what is going to be critical about those when you're getting a chance to go back to places you've already seen at least once, if not a few times? What are you going to be looking for in terms of takeaways from the OVs specifically that you think will be important for you before a decision later this summer?
Small details like OVs is for you to like really get in tune what's going on. I get in tune with anything or any visit, but that's when you really get in tune to the academics. You gotta know whatever you commit to, you gotta know what you want. So I believe that I gotta know what I want from an academic standpoint. I want like my goals. I need to know different the different techniques. I need to know like everything that's important, every little thing. I'm not really worried about the depth chart. I'm a great player. The depth chart not gonna matter. I'm gonna work my way up there when I first get there, wherever I land at. So, and that's just my confidence level and my play style level. So that's not me being cocky. That's just me being real with myself, and that's my mindset. So I look at the little things like relationships, um, different tactics, different packages, things of that nature, like how many DBs they put on the field, stuff like that. That's important. And then that's when I get to then that's when I narrow it. Not I narrow it down because now I'm into small things, and then that's when I get to the big things. So while I'm on mid term, like I'm not just going to college just to play football. I gotta learn. I gotta do things. I gotta get my degree, stuff like that. So when I settle all that down, that's when I'll be able to get my commitment. But My commitment gonna be on my birthday anyway, set. So I'm just working to that day come.
There you go. Well, that's all I got for you. We've done this before, and I knew when you and I talk, we don't talk short, so it was going to be a minute. But do you have anything else that you want to share about today, or about your recruiting process, or anything? Or you think we pretty much covered those bases for now?
We pretty much covered everything, but I'm one of the best. Like there's like no hands down, and wherever I land at, I I'm gonna start up a different culture. If you understand what I'm saying.
There you go. He's Hayward Howard Jr., 2026 cornerback for Edna Karr, and now one of the few in-state guys who have an LSU offer in this 2026 class. And so the Tigers certainly giving him something heavy to think about here in these few months before his decision date.